channel. Welcome back to So What If I Sew, or welcome if you're new. My name's Jess and this is my channel all about sewing, dressmaking and all things stitch related. And today I'm taking a little step out of my comfort zone. I don't do videos like this very often. I've done a couple of Q&As before, but today we're just going to have a nice chat really. It's going to be a nice chatty catch-up vlog. I asked on Instagram the kind of things you guys want to hear about. And I just thought it might be nice because actually a lot's happened in the last 3-4 months and it's kind of affected, nothing bad, but it's just a lot, and it's kind of affected my motivation and the content I'm producing and everything. So I thought it would be nice for us to just have a little catch up. So in this video I am going to talk about some stuff you guys want me to talk about. So lots of questions about my new job and about how we're settling into the new house, so I'm going to talk about that. I'm also going to talk about my sewing plans, as well as my pattern wish list and how I'm getting on with my fabric ban that I've been on for nearly a month now. It's hard. And then I'm also going to do a little bit of kind of reflecting on where we are and hopefully what you can see from me in the future. So if you're up for that, grab a cup of tea. I have got one, even though it's 30 degrees, I'm wearing a jumper and I've got a cup of tea because I am a summer person. Like I always run quite hot anyway, but in the summer it just seems to sync up with the temperature outside, so I'm good. So yeah, grab a cup of tea and join me for a bit of a chat. So, yeah, it's been a bit of a roller coaster 4 months really. 4 months, 5 months, I don't know what month we're in. We're in July. So if we start from March, obviously I ran Sew Yellow Friendo, which I was so excited about and I loved, and this jumper is going to get so much of an airing next year. And I would like to run it again. It was a fantastic month. I engaged with so many of you. We raised nearly £2,000 for charity, which is fantastic. And it was a very, very special time. And I was all prepared for that. What I wasn't prepared for was to move house at the same time and to have 2 major uni deadlines as well in March. So it was hard. It was a really hard month. And the thing is, like, I wouldn't change any of it for the world, but I was wiped out afterwards. It was so much. And the thing is, there's a lot I know now from running a challenge of that scale. So I think some things you only learn the first time you do them. So now there's a lot more, and I'm hoping to do it next year. I'd love to do it next year and do it even bigger. But there's a lot I can pre-prepare. So the branding exists now, which is great. I did that myself. I pretty much did everything myself. Obviously I had some wonderful, wonderful sponsors. I had so many for the giveaway, which was fantastic. So many of you got involved, but all the things like creating the branding and scheduling and coordinating and everything I did. Now, it's not that difficult because I'm an events manager, so it is, like, I'm not minimising those who do it at all, but it is my day job. So in some ways, I was like, well, this is fine. I know what I need to do, I know what needs to be done. However, it does mean that my work life bled into my sewing life, which meant that I kind of needed time off from work and sewing and everything afterwards. So I loved that month. But when it came to running it all and then moving house at the end of the month, that was a lot. And we weren't just moving up the road either. We moved to a different county. We moved to a bigger flat. We moved to a flat from a house actually. And a lot changed. So I firstly have to say just thank you for everyone for getting involved and supporting and generally being wonderful. It was a fantastic month, but it was tiring. So we got to April here, we had lots of issues, as always, with Wi-Fi. That's always the thing when you move house. But we moved house to this beautiful flat. And we are now in High Wycombe. I used to live in Egham in Surrey, which is near Heathrow. We lived there for 5 years. Now, I should say, because I'll be honest, if you live there, well done you. I'm not a fan. Our university was there. So Adam and I went to Royal Holloway and we met there and we did the same degree and we were in halls together, so we've lived together for quite a while actually, before we got together, and it was a great place to go to uni. It had everything we needed, well, sort of. There's very little there except the university, and it was fine while we were students. And then we lived there for a bit. We had a nice house we lived in that house for 2.5 years, and I do have very fond memories of it, but it was very small. and it really started, especially in lockdown, started to feel very small, in that we were working, I was sewing, we were relaxing, we were cooking, pretty much all in the same room. And that's a lot. Like, I'm really grateful we had a garden. It made lockdown a lot easier because we could just sit outside. But while that house was lovely and I have wonderful memories of it, moving was so fun. One of the big reasons we had to move as well is, lots of people know, I am severely asthmatic, and living basically under the Heathrow flight path for 5 years has done me no good at all. So we have moved to High Wycombe, which is beautiful. For anyone who doesn't live in the south or doesn't live in the UK, we live in Buckinghamshire. We still both work in London, so we can still commute from here. The trains are actually faster because they're express trains, which is such a win. But it's beautiful and leafy and green, and we have a 2-bed flat for the same amount we used to pay for a 1-bed house, because that's what being further out of London helps with. So it was genuinely such an incredible decision to make, because it was hard. Like, we didn't move here to be close to friends or family or anything. We moved here just because we wanted to, and that's a lot in itself. And I mean, we were on a walk last week and we both just turned around to each other and went, I'm so happy we've moved here. It's a big place as well. It's actually like a proper town with its own personality. It's not an adjunct to London. It's an actual place, and that's really nice too, because it means our hobbies are here. It's big enough to have dance studios so I can get back to ballet. It's got martial arts stuff for Adam and me if I want to go back to it. We've got cinemas and restaurants and everything here within walking distance, and that makes a huge difference. We don't have to go out into London. I mean, we still can, but we don't have to, and that's a nice feeling. And also, just generally, it's obviously not as expensive because we're so far out of London. It's lovely. But yeah, so a lot of you asked about how the move has gone. The move itself wasn't too bad, actually. Adam's sister and boyfriend helped, which was nice, because he can drive a van. So, as in not Adam, Adam's sister's partner can drive a van. So we were like, oh my god, please help us. So we had a couple of trips to do in a very big van. We own so much stuff. It was the first time I've ever moved with furniture, and oh my god, that just, it adds a whole nother dimension to moving house. But it actually went well, and we've settled in here quickly. I feel like we've lived here a lot longer than we have. I did do a tour of my new sewing room. Well, it's the office, we share it. But outside of work time, it kind of is the sewing room. It's nice, I love it. So yeah, I did a little tour of that on my YouTube, which I'll link below if you want to go and check it out. But otherwise, it's big, it's spacious. I'm currently surrounded by plants because it's so hot. I've tried to keep them away from the windows. But I can now have all of my plants not clustered in one place. They're all spread around the house. It's so nice. And yeah, I just feel, it feels right. It feels like a really good move. And even if we don't stay in that flat, in this flat forever, which we probably won't, I would quite like to settle in this area. It is lovely. So all I need to do is find some decent fabric shops in the county, which I'm still struggling to do. So if you've got any recommendations, let me know. But otherwise, I've got everything I need here, and I feel really good. Even if it took some time coming off the back of something very stressful to kind of settle, it's wonderful to be here. So on that note, let's talk about my new job. So I've worked in events on and off, pretty much since I was born. My parents did, because they don't do it anymore, event type things. Originally they did displays in shopping centres, and then it moved to like kids events, and I worked on them as a kid. I worked on them as a teenager properly, with responsibility and everything. You can't chuck a sickie as well when your parents are running an event, so it's given me quite a good attitude to just getting on with things. And then I started working in events while I was at university properly, working in corporates and conferencing, and I love it. It's so fun. And my current job was fine. I enjoyed the actual work side. I struggled, I think, to integrate. It wasn't that, you know, everyone was nice, but it just wasn't the right place for me, I don't think. And I found that quite stressful because I'm very social. And I don't know, it just wasn't the right fit for me. And then I saw an opportunity come up to work at a major London cultural venue, and really I just couldn't I'm not going to say, because I don't really want to have that as sort of yeah, out on the internet for everybody, but it is a major London cultural landmark, and I'm going to be an events manager. Finally, in my actual title, I will be an events manager, which is so exciting. But what I will say is I've wanted to work at this venue since I was a teenager, and it's an absolute dream come true. I burst into tears when I got the offer acceptance. Like, when they rang me after the interview and said, you know, we'd like to offer you the job, I literally was like jumping up and down on the phone trying to keep my, while I was on the phone trying to keep my voice level. It was hilarious and embarrassing, but also I don't care because I was at home and Adam, it was just me and Adam bouncing about. Both of us so excited. And it means so much to me. I know that out there are people who see work as work and home as home, or like, you know, they work in order to do their hobbies, which is fine. But for me, my career is a huge part of me as a person. I love my job, and I do have a career trajectory in mind. I do have goals I want to achieve because I love my job. So it feels, you know, it's personal and professional development is very important to me. So actually getting it and actually, you know, applying for that and getting the job, and I start on Monday, was just, it was really overwhelming, and I was so excited. I met my new team, who are wonderful. They're so nice. We went for a drink after work, well, after work for them, last week, and it was just nice to get to know them as people and realise that they are people that I'm genuinely very excited to work with. I normally keep my work and home life quite separate, but I can see myself actually enjoying and socially interacting and getting on with these people, so I'm so excited. It's really fun, and I will be working on a massive range of events, which is fabulous. So I'll be working on things for thousands of people, I'll be working on things for small groups, I'll be working on corporates, public events, all sorts of stuff, and that too is really exciting. One of the other things that attract me to the job is that the events team don't work in silo. They work across the public events for the cultural institution as well as the private corporate stuff, and that's nice because I think that's how more places should do it. If you have a team of event professionals, you should also use them internally, as long as, you know, they're resourced appropriately for doing that. Then it allows corporate events and venue hire to feel less off to one side, like you feel more involved even if what you do isn't necessarily the core purpose of the charity or cultural institution or business. I won't say any more on that because it's really only of interest to events people, but it's one of the things I'm very excited about for my new job. So, balancing my new job with sewing, and in particular, I think it's important to recognise pre-pandemic, I did sew. I just didn't have as much time because being an events manager means you work very strange hours sometimes. And that when you're working on events, you really aren't doing anything else. So I'm excited to keep my sewing as a sort of relaxing hobby for me. I'm excited to keep building a me-made wardrobe with things I love doing. But I won't lie, it is going to be a challenge. I think the fact that for the next month, I only have to do a day or two in the office a week and then the rest from home is great, because that's going to allow me to slowly settle back into the commuting rhythm. And then in September, I think it goes up to like 3 days in the week I need to be in, obviously not counting events. So that's also good to know, because where I'm working has taken a really gradual approach to getting staff back. Obviously I'm double vaccinated because I'm vulnerable, but most of my colleagues won't be, and the trust has surveyed the staff and seen that people don't feel comfortable coming back until they're vaccinated, which is understandable, and for me as a vulnerable person, very exciting. So there is going to still be some flexibility, which means I will be able to adapt my sewing and just ease back into that lifestyle rather than going from, you know, 0 to 60 and completely missing my sewing. So I'm very excited. I am going to do, lots of you wanted me to, I'm going to do a day in the life vlog when I go back to working properly, which will probably be, I'll pick an event I'm doing in August or something and then film it then so you guys can see a bit more of what I actually do. And also how I fit sewing into that. So I will film that for you. And yeah, it's fun. I'd like to share a little bit more of my other passion with you, which I'm lucky to say is my job. So yeah, that will be coming, I think in August. It'll depend what I'm working on because I want to film something interesting. So August, September time, I'll film something for you guys, and that should be quite fun. So yeah, it feels a bit strange just chatting away to camera, if I'm honest. but it's quite cathartic actually. I see why people do this. So yeah, you guys asked about my job and about my, about our house move. So we've settled in a lot. But one thing I will say is job hunting and house moving and running big Instagram challenges. And generally if you're feeling a bit off at work anyway, it really affects your sewing motivation. Now, I've sewn some things over the last few months that I adore. I really love, like my closet core Mylan sweatshirt before it got really hot. I didn't take that off, like I love it. I love my red dress I made. I've worn that to work a couple of times. My rose clare wrap dress is already a favourite. I'm going to make another one, I think. And a few others, including the dress I'm making for So Recreate the Look and the one I made previously of the same pattern. I love them. But I'm going to be honest with you guys, it's affected my sewing motivation. My sojo is slightly lost at the moment because I'm just tired. And actually I say that up until today. So I had a full day off yesterday for the first time. Like, for me there's a difference in a day off from work and a day off where genuinely you've finished work. Because I've deleted everything off my phone, my laptop, there's no temptation to check anything. This is a true day off. I had one yesterday, I've got one today, and I've got one tomorrow. And I got a manicure and a pedicure done yesterday, which was heavenly. Oh my god, the massage chair was everything I needed. I did some shopping. I've written a big blog post about buying this jumper and the shorts I'm wearing actually. So I've also linked that below if it's of any interest to you guys. And I just already feel myself. On Tuesday night we had a lovely steak dinner. We had a few drinks, which was also just lovely. There's something very, very decadent about getting a bit drunk on a Tuesday night and knowing you don't have anything to do on Wednesday. It's really lovely. It sounds really silly, but it was just nice to celebrate. Because Adam knows I've not been feeling great with work and everything, and knowing I've got a new job and knowing that, that I've got change coming and that it's all going to be, I've got something exciting and new to do. It's really enthusing me. So I now kind of want to take the same attitude to my sewing. Like today I found I have so much energy, and that's great because that's how I should be. That's how I normally am. I'm so excited, everything. I'm super up for doing everything. So I am going to do some sewing today, which would be lovely. Some nice self-care sewing that I'm not filming. I'm also going to start letting you guys pick my monthly sew along. If I do more than one in a month then fine, but I'll do at least one a month. And actually getting you guys to pick it really helps, because then I know I'm making something that you guys want to see, and then that's less stressful. I mean, again, not that I find it particularly stressful, but editing is time consuming, and as is filming. Something that will take me a couple of hours to sew normally takes me a day to sew if I'm filming it, because of various, making sure that you're showing things properly. So I'm excited to go to that approach. I've started using Trello to track my content as well, which again is helping. I'm so nearly at 2k on here, by the way. It's like, how has this happened? It's so exciting. But yeah, I think it's one of those things where sewing motivation is not consistent, and sometimes you do have to take a step back and sew something you want to sew, and not feel pressure and not put pressure on yourself as well, which is something we all do. So in the blog post I wrote about buying this jumper, you guys know that I gave up buying fast fashion last year, and I managed a year without. And then because Gap is closing, and I'm genuinely very sad that Gap is closing because it's one of the only places I've ever found consistent sizing, and as a kid that's where Mum would take us to get jeans because the denim's proper. So I'm quite sad about it. So as our shop only had 4 days left, I went and got a few things. And it was quite an interesting experience, because previously if clothes didn't fit me, I'd blame myself. Whereas now I don't. Now I know enough about sewing to go, that's cut really badly. Or that shape just, that shape's not for me and that's fine, but that's not my body. I'm critical of the garments now. And that's I think a really important mental step for everybody, is to recognise that a lot of fast fashion isn't about you. It's about trying to make everybody fit into one clothing, trend, regardless of what season that is. And I don't subscribe to that anymore. So whilst I'm not going to go back to shopping and back to fast fashion, I know I hate sewing basics, so I'm not going to beat myself up if I want to buy some underwear or, you know, buy some t-shirts. I'm going to get the odd thing every now and then that makes me smile. Like, I love this jumper so much. I love it. I love how bright it is. I love how enormous it is. It's got quite a nice bat wing. I'm in here. It's got quite a nice bat wing going on. But it makes me smile, and that's what clothes should do. And I think that while I'm so happy sewing things for myself, and I recognise the labour that goes into clothes, it doesn't have to be all one way or all the other. And I think that we shouldn't pressure ourselves either way. You do what works for you, and that's what I kind of subscribe to. Whatever you're happy with and works for you, do it. No one's pressuring you to sew everything. Equally, no one's pressuring you to buy everything. You should pick your own happy medium. Now, speaking of buying things, my fabric ban. So at the end of June, I went on a fabric ban because money, and also I have too much fabric. And I then did a massive sort out of my fabric, which was a little bit scarring. I then de-stashed a load of patterns and fabrics. That was really good. Currently, I hate the fact I can't buy fabric because there's so many really good sales on. But equally, I have enough fabric and I should sew through some of what I've got. So that's been good. Like, I have a greater awareness of all the fabric I have. And what I did was this great exercise, which I would encourage people to do if you feel like your stash is growing but you don't know what to do with it, is to go through all your patterns and try and match them up to fabric. So either what you originally intended to make when you bought the pattern or bought the fabric and then just forgot, or new combinations you hadn't considered. And that's helped a lot. So now I have a bag of projects that I can also reach to if my sojo is feeling a bit low. I can reach for that bag and go, right, I was going to do this. Do I still want to? Yes, I do. Right, and let's do it. And that's a nice feeling as well. So that's really helped. I'm on the fabric ban till the beginning of September, so pretty much a month to go, and I'm doing okay. I might extend it past September, but it's hard because I want to engage. It's quite hard to engage as like with a sewing account when you're not buying fabric, because obviously I'm not really of use to brands at the moment to promote fabric because I'm not buying it. But equally, I will still shop with the brands even afterwards. I'll shop with the brands I love. I am in September going to write some more reviews. I think I'm going to do like a review season on the blog from September to December, and then review blogs, review shops in that time every year, because it's too stressful trying to do it constantly. And also it's too acquisitive, because if I'm reviewing new shops constantly, that means I'm buying constantly, and that's not okay. I'd rather buy from shops where it's appropriate and do one review season a year. So I've got some great brands lined up for that, and I'm really excited. So hopefully that's something you guys are interested in as well. I'm going to pre-write some of them as well, so that when work's getting too much, that I can kind of keep them going, because that's another thing I know will happen. Is September I will be back to working events, because September's always busy in the events world, plus I'll be back to my MA, so I want to make sure I've got stuff lined up for you guys. But the fabric ban is going well, and I would encourage you to do it, even for a month, just to figure out what on earth fabrics you have in your sewing room and what you're going to do with them. The other thing I want to talk to you about today is my pattern wish list. Because I've put myself on a fabric ban, I've kind of also just put myself on a buying things ban for sewing. Including patterns, but not include, so the rule is I'm allowed to buy notions if they help me sew up fabric and patterns I already own, which I think is a fair way to do it. By the way, I have just seen the biggest threat to my wallet in the world, which is Gina Seams has started a new venture called the Notion Box, where they're going to do, I don't know if it's a subscription box or like a one-off, but basically that sort of model with haberdashery and notions, which is like, I don't do fabric subscription boxes, although I know lots of people love Soho Hailey Jane, etc. It's not me. I don't like other people choosing my fabric for me. So while I can see the value in that, it's not for me. The Notion box, however, may be a real threat to my wallet, because that's my dream. I hate Notion shopping. Like, I love it when you're just sort of like, ooh, that's pretty, and you're in person in a shop. But I hate buying notions for projects. It's just annoying. And at the moment as well, I'm trying to find, what's it called? I'm trying to find like drawstring cord, but nowhere seems to sell it. And the thing is, somewhere must sell drawstring cord because we all use it. So if anyone's getting it from somewhere, it's for the True Bias Hudson pants. So it needs to be like comfortable for a tracksuit bottom waistline. And I'm really struggling to find anything. So if anyone knows where they got it to do them, or generally has a good supply, can you let me know, because it's really annoying me. So while I've got a bit of a fabric wish list going on, I've also got a pattern wish list, some of which I'm hoping I'll get for Christmas, although people are terrible at buying me patterns, and they're like, I want to get you something else, and I'm like, please don't, I actually want this. So the top 3 that I really want to try at the moment is I'm genuinely desperate to try the Friday Pattern Company Davenport. I really, really want to do it. I want to do it before the summer's over, but I can't, so it'll have to be for next year. It just looks so perfect, and I really want to have a go. It's so annoying. So I'm desperate to have a go at that. I'd quite like to review it as well and do like a review blog and a sew along for it. But yeah, it's up there. The other one is the Ilford jacket, which I think I would look super cute in, but again, it may have to be for next summer now. I'd quite like to make one in like a lilac denim or like a mint green denim. I just think it would look super cute, and I'm kind of missing that sort of jacket in my wardrobe. When I was younger, I had a denim jacket I wore constantly, and I love it. Like it's such a nice aesthetic, and you can sort of just throw it on, and it's the ideal spring jacket. Heavy enough to be like windproof because it's denim, but also light enough to be like seasonally appropriate, because all of my clothes are autumnal, and now I've changed my hair, which I'm getting it done again in a couple of weeks to go even more blonde. I need to kind of update my wardrobe in line with this a little bit more and get some more spring colours in, and that sort of thing. So yeah, the Ilford pattern's up there. The Ilford jacket, sorry, is up there. And the other one is the Sicily slip dress, which I've wanted to make since it came out. However, a couple of things. Firstly, again, I can't buy the pattern. I also can't buy the fabric I want to make it in, because again, money. But I really want to make like a beautiful slinky version. I'm a bit worried about bust room on it, is the only thing I would say, because I love a cowl neck. It's really flattering if you have a bigger bust, because it kind of it stops the boob shelf effect and gives you sort of nice, it breaks up the line. But I'm just concerned about getting it the fit right for me. So if anyone's got experience of working with that with slightly curvier dimensions, I would also love to hear from you. But yeah, that's the other one that's on my wish list. So those patterns are sort of on my mental pegboard, as it were. And yeah, I hope I get a chance to try them. They're definitely, if I can't make them this year, they're all going on my Make 9 for next year, because I love them, they're so beautiful. But that's kind of where I am with sewing patterns as well at the moment. I know it's not super interesting watching a vlogger who's basically on a fabric and a pattern ban, but I thought it's important to share that with you guys, because not all of us have the money or the income to be buying stuff constantly. And also we probably shouldn't either. Even if we've turned away from fast fashion, we shouldn't replace that with just buying fabric. So those, hopefully, I'm desperate to get a go at the Davenport dress. I really am, like, it's so frustrating. But hopefully you guys can empathise with this, as I know lots of us do fabric bans. And I just thought it was important to show you a sort of real experience. So what's coming up? I'm going to round up this sort of just chatty, throwing information at you vlog with a sort of a look at what's coming up. So next week I'm going to put out my Sew Recreate the Look vlog. I've tried to vlog the whole process, or at least I've done a little vlog to kind of sum it up. It's a challenge being run by Jen Leg Creatives and So Dressmaking. I love it. It's such a good idea for a challenge. I'm taking part with something I was going to make pre-challenge, inspired by stuff I saw on Pinterest. I then saw the challenge and was like, I should wait because this is like perfectly in line. So you'll see a vlog next week with the whole process where I talk about my inspiration, my plans, and then I'll reveal it then as well. Well, I'm going to reveal it on Monday when we all reveal, but you guys will see that next week. So that's fun. I've got my video on sewing machine feet coming up. Next weekend we're actually going to something social for the first time since literally the start of the pandemic, because obviously I've been shielding. We're going to Adam's Friends barbecue that they normally do annually since they were like teenagers, so I'm really excited. It's going to be so fun. yeah, I'm so excited for that. So we're gonna have a couple of days away, so I'll schedule a video to go live while we're away, which will be my sewing machine feet video, and that is done with all the ones you guys requested last month when I did some polls on my stories. Hopefully that's useful. And then in August I'm going to bring back the My Week in Sewing, and I'm also going to do my bra sew along finally, because I've got my fun new filming arm that allows me to like film top down, so you guys will be able to see what I'm doing, which is super exciting. So that is coming up in August as well. If you've enjoyed this video, let me know, give it a like, share and subscribe if you want to hear more from me. I might start doing these sort of quarterly, just to catch up with you guys. Again, if that's something you'd be interested in, let me know. I thought we would do one because I've gone through a lot, and actually I don't like that phrase. I've done a lot and a lot of great things have happened, but when you're really, really busy, everything takes its toll. And I heard an expression the other day where sometimes it can seem like somebody else hasn't got as much on their plate as you do, but you don't know the size of their plate. And I'll be honest, I think my plate fluctuates. So sometimes I have got so much energy and I can do thousands of things at once, and sometimes I'm exhausted and I can't. And again, I want to share the reality with you guys. So I will keep doing these. If you like them, if you hate them, I promise this will be the only one. Or, you know, they won't be often anyway. But if you enjoyed it, let me know. And otherwise, thank you so much for watching. I will see you next week for my Sew Recreate the Look vlog. And there will also be a little vlog on sewing machine feet coming your way as well, which is really exciting. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.